everyone, and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov, and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. The topic of this session today is steering anger and rage, the rise of intolerance. This is part one presentation, and part two is going to be next week. But the topic touches on psychology, and currently we're witnessing the birth of a syndrome that has quietly become one of the defining pathologies of our time. This is systematic conversion of human pain into perpetual anger. What we're observing in some people, and what millions of Americans have experienced within their own families or neighbors or like random people is and what is the emergence of what psychologists now understand as a bitterness anger loop, a self-reinforcing cycle that transforms temporary hurt into permanent hostility, leaving its victims emotionally imprisoned and increasingly isolated from the very connections they most desperately need. Um, to understand how we arrived at this moment when public discourse resembles a perpetual bar fighting and family dinners which have become minefields, we must first examine the mechanics of emotional transformation. Humans possess a remarkable capacity for psychological sleight of hand. We can take one feeling and through unconscious alchemy transform it into another entirely. Consider this morning commute. A driver cuts you off in traffic. The immediate sensation beyond the adrenaline is often a complex cocktail of fear. I could have been killed, helplessness, there was nothing I could do, and perhaps shame. Why didn't I anticipate this? But these emotions are uncomfortable to sit with. They make us feel small, vulnerable, human. So our psyche performs a rapid substitution. Within seconds, these complex and comfortable truths become something simpler and more empowering. Anger. What an idiot, we shout at the windshield, and the transformation is complete. This psychological sleight of hand serves an apparent evolutionary purpose. Anger can mobilize us for actions, create boundaries, and provide a sense of power, which we feel and when we feel powerless. But when this occasional emotional tool becomes our default response, when every disappointment, hurt, or fear gets automatically converted into anger, something profound happens to our inner landscape. Dr. Robert Enright, a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, who has spent 3 decades studying forgiveness and resentment, describes what he calls anger addiction, the compulsive reliance on anger as the primary evolutionary and emotional response to life challenges. His research, following thousands of individuals over decades, reveals a disturbing pattern. Those who consistently choose anger over vulnerability don't just damage their relationship, they literally rewire their brains for hostility. Neuroscientist Dr. Rick Hansen research at Berkeley demonstrates that chronic anger creates measurable changes in brain structure. The amygdala, our alarm system, becomes hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for empathy and complex reasoning, shows decreased activity. In effect, chronic anger doesn't just influence our behavior, it changes who we are at a biological level. The transformation explains why so many Americans seem to inhabit a parallel reality, unable to connect across ideological divides. When our primary emotional tool becomes a hammer, everything becomes to look like a nail. The political other isn't just wrong, they're evil. The struggling economy isn't complex, it's sabotaged. Personal setbacks aren't the natural friction of a difficult world, they're targeted persecution. Walk through any American suburb today and you will encounter what we call the greater substitution. Entire community where nuanced human emotion has been replaced by a binary angered not angered state. The local Facebook groups that were once venues for lost cat announcements now pulse with indignation about school board decisions, neighborhood policies, and national politics. Coffee shops echo this with conversations that are really monologues of grievance. Um, Maybe you have a friend um, who describes the phenomena she is witnessing in parent-teacher conference. Parents come in already angry. Before we say a word about their child, they're defensive, hostile, ready for battle. They cannot hear anything a teacher would be saying because they're armored for war. The perpetual state of readiness for conflict creates what sociologists term defensive communities, groups behind not bound not by shared aspirations or values, but by shared enemies. The identity becomes not who we who believe in X, but we who oppose X. This shift is observable everywhere, from neighborhood associations to religious congregations to political movements. What makes the bitterness anger loop particularly insidious is its ability to masquerade as strength. In American culture, anger is as power, passion, and authenticity. The angry prophet calling our corporation, the furious citizen demanding change, the indignant parent protecting their child. These figures command respect and attention in ways that openly vulnerable people do not. But this cultural validation of anger obscures a profound loss. Dr. Brené Brown, 2 decades of research on vulnerability and shame, revealed that societies that encourage emotional armor wearing as strength actually become less resilient, less innovative, and less capable of solving complex problems. Her studies of corporate environment, schools, and communities consistently show that cultures that equate vulnerability with weakness produce more anxiety, less creativity, and higher rates of both depression and addiction. The irony is devastating. In our attempt to appear strong by staying perpetually angry, we actually become fragile. Like someone wearing heavy armor, we are protected from minor blows, but increasingly unable to move with grace, connect meaningfully, or respond appropriately to nuanced situations. Dr. Gabor Mate, whose work bridges psychology and medicine, has documented the physical toll of chronic anger. His research with patients suffering from autoimmune diseases, addiction, and chronic illnesses reveal a common thread. Many have spent years or decades in high stress emotional states, um, particularly chronic anger and resentment. The human body isn't designed for perpetual arousal. When we maintain a state of constant anger, our sympathetic nervous system remains activated, flooding our bodies with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, this creates a cascade of health problems, compromised immune function, digestive issues, sleep disruption, and increased risk of heart disease. But beyond the physical cost lies something even more tragic: the emotional atrophy that occurs when we stop exercising our full emotional range. Like a musician who only plays one note, we lose our facility with the complex, complete keyboard of human feeling. We forget how to grieve properly, how to feel appropriate fear, how to experience joy without cynicism, how to love without holding back as insurance against future hurt. Perhaps nowhere is the cost of the bitterness anger loop more visible than in its intergeneration transmission. Children raised in chronically angry households don't just witness anger, they absorb it as normal. Dr. John Gotham's longitudinal studies following families for decades show that children from high conflict homes don't become more resilient. They become more likely to develop anxiety disorders, struggle with relationships, and default to anger as their own primary emotional strategy. I think um, probably you know someone who um, spend their childhood in perpetual state of outrage about uh, his job, his marriage, the government, and life in general. Um, and their kids swore that they wouldn't be like them. But sometimes these same kids could catch themselves that they're lecturing their own kids about homework or and they do it in the exact same way their parents lecture them about everything. The same tone, the same angry energy. They're trying to break this cycle, but it's like they're fighting their own internal programming. This programming runs deep. When anger becomes the family's default emotional language, children learn that other emotionals, emotions are dangerous, weak, or inappropriate. They may grow up literally unable to identify what they are feeling beyond a vague sense of agitation or the familiar heat of anger. And with this said, I'm ending this educational presentation. Come back for part 2 of this presentation, which is coming next week. And I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of Decentralized Web Project. The website of this project is decentralizedweb.org. Decentralized and web, these are two words which are typed all together, then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, decentralizedweb.org. In this website, we built an implementation of decentralization which is different than the meaning put by blockchain technology, and we view blockchain technology as fundamentally not suitable to drive decentralization. And in our implementation of decentralization, we allow only direct communication from user to user without going through a third party which collects data and then it distributes this data back, namely a website or a central point for collection of data. With this said, I like to go to the next web project that we did release, and in this project we built marketplace and collection of objects, uh, collection of non-fungible tokens based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, there has to be special software engine which can open a window, then read the file of the 3D object, then displays this 3D object in the window it did open, and then it can start manipulating this object in a way of moving it or rotating it or zooming it or etc. In the very beginning of our 3D NFT project, we decided to build our own 3D software engine, and I like to tell you that in addition to the basic initial capabilities of opening a window, displaying and animating the 3D object, it has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of speaking. Our 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices: a male voice, a female voice, or whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken either in normal speed or in a fast speed or in a slow speed fashion. In the next additional important capability is the capability of voice recognition. The 3D NFTs can recognize voice commands, and you can command the 3D NFT to, for example, move left or move right, move up or move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And the next additional capability of our 3D NFT software engine is the capability of them having a basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT, who are you? And the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences of who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something. For example, describe Web3, or describe decentralization, or describe Russia. The last additional but not least important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of stereoscopics. The stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or cyan colors. Then you can order from us and put special glasses, which like one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of this glass is blue cyan. And when you put these glasses on and request displaying of the 3D NFT in a way of stereoscopics, you can see the 3D NFT is coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I like to tell you a little bit about our 3D NFT website and 3D NFT marketplace. The website of our 3D NFT project, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFT is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters N, F, and T. And then there is dot, then there are 2 words, decentralized and web, typed all together, then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. In our 3D NFT website, we have our in our 3D NFT project, we have our own blockchain instance, and this blockchain instance it runs Ethereum software, which is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet, on Binance Smart Chain, Polygon Matic chain, and on Avalanche Avax chain, and many other famous or not so famous blockchains in existence. We having our own blockchain instance, we do not require our users to pay gas fees for the deployments of the smart contracts for the non-fungible tokens, and we do not charge users for transfer of ownership from one user to another user. With this said, I like to tell you that also there are multiple crypto coins which one user can use for purchase and then receive proceedings from sale of 3D NFTs. Currently the choices include Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Pol, Avalanche Avax, and Qcoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. They have a coin called KCS. In addition to buying and selling with crypto, we have second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. Like if we take, for example, you as a user who comes to our 3D NFT marketplace, you can browse through the collection of the 3D NFTs, and then you can click on one 3D NFT that you like to purchase. You're going to be presented with a drop-down menu asking you to choose between 4 different crypto coins and a 5th choice of paying with fiat currency. When you select payment with fiat currency, then you're going to be asked to put the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date, and CVC. And when you complete the click the button to complete the transaction, the payment is going to be converted from your national fiat currency to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. But let's say there is a second user who comes to this 3D NFT marketplace And let's say you, after playing with the 3D NFT, decide to put it for sale. You decide on the price that you want to put for sale, and let's say the second user browse and then likes in particular the 3D NFT that you put for sale. They're going to go through the same motions of um, like putting their number of debit or credit card expiration date and CVC, and when they complete the transaction, the payment is going to be converted from their national fiat currency to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. Then we're going to make a transfer of ownership from you to the second user, and finally we're going to make a transaction and a conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and the payment is going to be deposited in your bank account in your national fiat currency. With this set, I'm going to the next project that we released, and currently we have a new and very exciting website which shows the project. The name of the site is ai2ai.decentralizedweb.org. AI to AI is typed in a way of letter A followed by the letter I, followed by the number 2, followed by two other letters A and I. And it is typed all together AI to AI. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web typed all together. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, AI to AI.decentralizedweb.org. With this set, I'm ending talking about this project, and I'd like to mention two other projects that we're working on. The first project is token counter, which counts the tokens you spent for using services provided by artificial intelligence model providers. And like currently, like you, if you're a user of one or more of these AI model providers, then you're getting a bill in the end of the month, and sometimes this bill can come as a huge negative surprise that you're getting from these companies. To avoid this, we have like an agent which counts tokens and can report this information daily, weekly, monthly, or for a period of time. With this set, then the next project that we're working on and do not have yet released website is about an automation agent which records a sequence of steps, and you, the user, like can request start of this recording, and then at the last point you can stop this recording and label this interaction in with a particular label. But what could be this sequence of actions that you could be recording? The sequence could be, for example, buying specific food item from a specific grocery store, or buying a ticket for an event or a concert coming at a specific range of dates and times. Or it could be like buying an airplane ticket that you want to go to a specific destination or multiple destinations, and specifying the dates and times that you would like to get this ticket or tickets for flying. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for listening, thank you for viewing. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and goodbye.